there, my name is Phila Beck and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And do share this video, because I wasn't planning on making this video, but I just had this idea, and I thought, oh, that's pretty darn good. I better make a video about that. So, yeah, okay. One of the big drawbacks of being me is you think everything you do is brilliant. I got this really high opinion. Like, if you're watching the British version of the Apprentice this season, there's a guy on it called Thomas. Just spoiler alert, just got voted off. I should really do. I should have done little reviews of those. But anyway, this guy called Thomas, and he's a lot like me, and like everything he did, like they give him different jobs each week. You know, they've got to make an advertising campaign or a child's toy or some other product or something. They got to, and everything he does, he goes, "Oh, that's bloody brilliant! That's fantastic! Push, yeah! Oh, I like that." So yeah, I'm a lot like that, and everything I do, goes, "Oh, that's right." But this one actually, I think, is a pretty interesting video. It's a review of a review, which turns into a whole nother review. So it's quite more of a review of a reviewer. So I was listening to Regency, who's got a channel, Comics Matter, with your boy Zack. He's got another channel called Splatter de Gato, I think, where he reviews more like general stuff. And listen, he's a fantastic YouTuber for several reasons. Firstly, his videos are all the perfect length. They're between 10 and 20 minutes. And let's say, like I listen to stuff all day when I work. So, like a Big Finish radio play, whatever. YouTube, podcasts. So for say I have to go somewhere like half hour, 20 minutes, and I'm looking for something just to fill that gap. And I can listen to music, but often I go to him because he's like the perfect length. There is no BS with Regency. He is, look, this is the way things are, this is it, and he just told you so straight, everything, and he is right. I agree with him virtually on everything he says. And the really fascinating thing is he's like a ex military guy. I think he had a couple of what's the word? What he posted? A couple of postings. Is that what it's called? Like in the Middle East, Afghanistan, whatever. And so that the type of person you normally think of that is like one of the guys from the beginning of Aliens. One of the military hordes that get killed by the third the movie. So so that's how I kind of think of him. However, he's got like these really, really profound insights into literature, into storytelling, into understanding the mechanics of it. And so it's just fantastic reviews. I really, really, really enjoy them. And also he's doing these reviews of James Bond movies. And look, we have different opinions. Like he's a James Bond. I'll watch James. I love James Bond, but like for him, The Expendables is something that he thinks about. But me, it's something I can take or leave. So James Bond's something I think about. So I really enjoy his review. Also, I enjoy reviews from people who aren't so into the thing. I like for normies. So I'm listening to these reviews of these James Bond movies. He's done 2 of the Daniel Craig ones. He wants to get because the trailer for the 5th James Bond movie with him in, which he should have done a 5th one, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him. Daniel Craig, but is coming. It just came out, so that's what's triggered it. Also, for me, James Bond movies are so Christmassy because the English tradition, English Christmas, by the way, freaking awesome. American Christmas, not so much. And I love Christmas because I love English. First, we have mince pies, Christmas puddings, and if you're American, you're probably vomiting if you know what they are. It's like Marmite made into a dessert form. Or I was trying to get my wife to make sticky toffee pudding, and she was like, "No." I'm like, "Well, look, everybody's going to like sticky toffee pudding. Why?" So, well, that she makes mince pies, makes her a wonderful, wonderful human being. And so part of the tradition is you watch the Queen's speech at 3:00. You have a big turkey dinner. Watch the Queen's speech at 3:00, which I still do because I'm such a freaking royalist. And I don't know why. I really enjoy it. And then after that, they used to put on, like in the 70s when I was a kid, they used to put on a James Bond movie. So James Bond is like so intrinsically Christmassy. Anyway, why did I go on to this? So yeah, I'm watching James Bond movies. He's doing reviews of James Bond movies. And I'm thinking, what this guy, Regency Meyer, would really love. And I'd love to be able to tell him. Because here's the thing. He's such an incredibly good YouTuber that I feel like he's a friend. You know, I feel like I interact with him, which is I know, I understand. It's both creepy and weird. But he's just so personable. He's really just very good at that job. Um, I was thinking to myself, you know what I would really love to turn him on to? This thing called Callan, this TV show from the late 60s, early 70s, the spy show. Um, yeah, when people think British spies from the late 60s on TV, they think, oh, The Prisoner, obviously. No, this is like the inverse of The Prisoner. And like it's also the inverse of James Bond as well. It's like whereas The Prisoner is like very trippy fantasy, and James Bond is it's a very what's the word I'm thinking of? A very overstated fantasy. You know, just bigger than life. Callan is much smaller than life. It's tiny. It's like takes place in these grimy little bedsits, small little apartments in London, in back alleyways, and everything's like small and greying and dirty and not very nice. And so, Callan in this TV show was up until I'll get into when he spun off and other things. Callan is played by Edward Woodward, who you probably know from The Equalizer if you're from the 80s. And he's like working class. He's upper working class. He doesn't like his job. He's an government assassin, basically been forced into doing it, and he is in charge of doing the dirty business of the dirty business of spying for the British government. So so again, everything is very very small, and it's all about blackmailing people or murdering people. It's just not very. So Callan is kind of a moral character within it. He works for the section, and his boss is Hunter. Which then they occasionally the hunters change. It's a different person. So initially you think that's the name of his boss is Mr. Hunter, but no, Hunter is the name of the position. You get different hunters as you go on through the seasons. So the biggest obstacle to Callan is the very low, very basic production values. And if you can get past those, and they're not even that bad, but they're like, especially the early ones, which are in black and white, which are the most primitive, which are essentially they were shot for live, I think. If not, they were very early television production, English production, and it's all very dour. But the writing is all written by I think what's the name of the guy? James Mitchell. James. This is something that is one of the big things we have a problem with today is things being written by committee. You lose a creative voice. This is James Mitchell's creative voice, and it runs through the whole thing. So Callan, he's got a fantastic supporting cast. The main one is Lonely. Lonely is his like cat burglar thief friend who he met in prison. Yeah, so that also puts you in context. Like this is he's ex-military, and he was spent time in prison. Met this guy. He's called Lonely. It's called Lonely because he doesn't take a bath, and so he smells awful. And he's played by Russell Hunter as this like massive coward, and like, but you do kind of fall in love with this character. But then I didn't realize what a wonderful actor was it Russell Hunter who played him was, because I saw him then in like the mid-70s. He was in a glorious Doctor Who episode with Tom Baker story called the Robots of Death, where he played which takes place. I think this is why Doctor Who's brilliant. It takes place on a sand miner on an alien planet where they're like sifting through sand to get ore, and there's a massive robot contingent on the miner, and there's essentially an Agatha Christie who done it in this fantastic environment. But Russell Hunter plays the captain of the sand miner, and he's so opposite from how he was in Callan. He's like loud and gracious and commanding, and just a fantastic performance. Unfortunately, he's passed away. But if you want to hear more Russell Hunter, there's a audio series called Cawdor City, which is a spin-off of that, starring Paul Darrow, who also sadly passed away recently in June, I think. playing essentially exactly the same character from Blake Seven. But he plays Castagnaro as as an assassin who quite likes being an assassin. But yeah, if you want to hear more of it, it's fantastic. So the great thing about Callan is another one of the great things about Callan. You can watch it right now. It's all on YouTube. You just go there. They're all there. Most of the first season's missing. In England, we had a thing where we threw away things that we didn't think was so. So a lot of the first season's missing, bits of the second, but the second season is where it really starts to get good. Third season it goes into colour, and I think there's 4 seasons more. So you have Callan, you have Lonely, you have Hunter. You also have different extended characters. In the first season or two, you had what's his name? Anthony Valentine playing. Let's see if we can look it up. I'm on IMDb. Callan, season 1. Good ones. Yeah, I'm just looking at the episode titles, and they're all brilliant. Hang on, Mears. Yes, Anthony Valentine plays Mears, who's like this upper class thug. So he's like this aristocratic guy, also working for Section, also being an assassin, just who is much more violent and brutal than Callan, and less efficient. See, Callan is incredibly efficient and incredibly good killer, and that's why, which is why he's being forced to do this. So yeah, you have him in it, and they have like this bit of this adversarial relationship slightly, which is very interesting. The Mears is trying to curry favour with his bosses and put Callan down, and Callan couldn't care less. Callan's like, fire me, I don't care. So you got that going on, and then he's replaced in later seasons by Cross, played by Patrick Moore. Patrick Moore was Brad Pitt. Well, Brad Pitt's not Brad Pitt anymore. Who's the hot heartthrob of today? Henry Cavill. And the reason I'm going for Henry Cavill is A, he's good looking, and B, he just said nice things about fans. So Henry Cavill, you're doing right by us right now. Played by Patrick Moore, who was like a younger, also more thuggish, more inexperienced killer, and which again has an adversarial relationship, and it takes an interesting direction. So the reason I would love Richard C. Meyer to watch this, I would love him to watch this show, because he's got such an incredible understanding of story and story structure. I think he would, like, each episode is like as good as an episode of the Twilight Zone. You know how the Twilight Zone were these little mini fantastic movies that are self-contained. This is kind of the same thing. These are full stories with beginning, middles, and ends, and real people with real motivations and like loss and hope and despair. And they're just fantastic. They are fantastic. And the writing, it's still sparkling as good today as it was when it was made in 67, 68? How many years ago was that? That's 40, 50 years ago? You see, this is why I can't stand when people say, we have to make it relevant. That's the latest buzzword they learn. How do we make Superman relevant? How do we make Doctor Who relevant? What you do when you make it relevant is you put a like a time limit on it, until it goes off, because I can't imagine how dated season 11 of Doctor Who's going to look in 3 or 4 years from now. It's just going to be embarrassingly cringy, which it is for me now. Classic things remain classic. So if you want to stick your toe into Callan, check out on YouTube. They did a movie as well, which had high production values. I think it's essentially the same plot as the pilot, which was an armchair theatre production. That was in 74. But if you want to hear something a little bit more modern take, Big Finish. Big Finish do full cast radio dramas. They're like talking books, but without narration. It feels basically you put it on and you feel like you're watching a TV show or a movie. So they did adaptations of Callan. So they had short stories were written by the James Mitchell, the creator of it, that appeared in Sunday newspapers in the 60s and 70s. So there's like 60 of them, and so he said that they're adapting those, and they are pitch perfect. They're starring Ben Miller as Callan and Frank Skinner as Lonely. So they released one box set of it, and it's fantastic. I just go there right now and check it out. And they recorded the second one and they scheduled it, and then it fell off the schedule, and it hasn't rescheduled. Big Finish. Where's Callan? Where is it? I want my next box set, and also I want more. It was such a good release. So, but my main point is the story structure is always fresh and inventive. And I think somebody like your boy Zack, Comics Matter with your boy Zack, will get a lot out of it. If anybody is listening to this and knows a way of getting in contact with him, just sending him this video, that'll be fantastic. It really would, because it's I genuinely think he would like it. So the Big Finish version is okay. I'm going to leave now. I'm going to go to a trailer for the Big Finish production version of it. Go to www.bigfinish.com. Check it out now. Ask them when it's coming. Anybody here listening knows anything about Big Finish? Where's box set 2? I want more Callan. Although I've still got so many things. I'm so behind on Big Finish because they're releasing too many things now. But there you go. My name is Fila Beck and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop, and enjoy this trailer for Callan. Thank you so much for watching. Before I go, this trailer is a recreation of the title sequence. So the title sequence is so indicative of what Callan was. So it was a light bulb swinging, and it's really minimalist music, and you saw the light reflect on Callan's eyes as I was watching it. It swing backwards and forwards. And then at the end of the title, go bang! The light bulb is shot and shattered. And it's getting very, very minimalist, which is the essence of Callan. So this is a great reproduction of that. Once again, my name is Fila Beck and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And if anybody can get this to Regency, please do. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.